Welcome to Learn or Be Learned. Like a true anthropologist, I'm going to dig up some stories and let's just jump into episode 7. All right, so I'm with Parker Stone. I think we kind of knew each other a little bit back in like 7th grade, 8th grade. I think we went to the same high school, right?
Yeah,
VHS? Yeah.
for sure.
But we didn't really like reconnect until like I guess this year. I saw he was doing some side hustles and I'm a DM him and I slid into his DMs. I was like, bro, what's up? I haven't talked to you in years. Like, what are you doing? And after that, we reconnected and here he is. Parker, you want to share a little about yourself?
For sure. So I'm Parker, obviously. Currently, I live up in Portland, Oregon. Really, right now, I'm just working on my online business, which is Amazon. I do a little Amazon drop shipping and a little bit of Amazon FBA. So I think that's kind of the topic we wanted to cover a little bit over today is kind of get into how that works, what it is, and how anybody can really get started in it. I guess I can start with, I'm only 22 years old. I've only been selling on Amazon. I want to say from the beginning, I started selling books on Amazon. So that was maybe a year and a half ago, going to like local Goodwills, anywhere that you could find like used books. And I was using a little Amazon app and I was going through them and scanning all of them and seeing what I could profit. But eventually, I was buying kids libraries. So I was going on like Facebook Marketplace, kids that were moving. I would just buy all their books and then try to sell them. So that's really how I got started on Amazon. And then I took a little break from it. And then over time, I just messed around with a lot of e-commerce stuff. I learned about drop shipping. I learned about just online sales. And so over time, I got the idea to come back to the Amazon and put into play the drop shipping that I learned. And I didn't learn FBA until a little later in this year, but should I go into like,
well, actually, I wanted to ask, I guess, before we jump into, what FBA is and what you do, how'd you get this, like, how'd you get started? Like, when did you realize, oh, I don't want a 9-to-5 job? What sparked that?
okay,
What got you going into side hustles in the first place?
for sure. So we can start back to the beginning. So I never really saw myself going to like college. I never really vibed with that scene. It was, I kind of felt like an outcast in a way. I was always trying to make a little bit of money. I always figured out a way to make a little bit of money some type of way. And, I just I didn't do very well in high school and just school in general. I always had a hard time just learning. I always wanted to learn about money. I always wanted to learn about finances or just money in general. And that's just something you can't get out of you can't get that out of basic schooling.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's the thing
So,
with school, it's made to create employees, people that work for other people.
sure.
And I get that. I get that you didn't vibe with it because they didn't teach you anything that you were interested in, finances, how to start your own business.
Exactly.
And honestly, those kind of stuff you kind of have to teach yourself anyways. That's kind of how our education system works.
Yeah, 100%. And then, so I went through the working route, right? I mean, I got kicked out of my house when I was, I think, 17 or 18.
Damn.
We can get into that if you want. It was a little shit show. But anyways, I just started into just the basic, 9 to 5 work, like little jobs, like, and then I worked my way up and I was like, okay, I should probably get a more quote unquote professional job. And so I started selling cars. And that's kind of where I want to say when I started selling cars was really when the selling and the stuff started clicking a little bit.
You're like a car salesman?
Yeah. So I was selling cars in Springdale, Arkansas, and I did pretty good at it, but I'll tell you the environment there, I wasn't with it. And so in the same time I was selling cars, I joined actually a network marketing company. I'll give credit to the network marketing company because they really got me started on books. I mean, personal development. That all started when I surrounded myself with a bunch of people that were into that. And so once I started realizing the power of like self-education and personal development and reading, it was just game over, I mean, just looking back of how far I've come since then, those days when I was in my shitty little apartment in Fayetteville, Arkansas, just reading my first little pamphlet. See, in high school, I never read one book, or school in general. I never read one full book. And then after high school,
I used to spark notes.
yep. And then, I picked up, I think it was a Grant Cardone, The Millionaire Booklet was the first little pamphlet I have ever read in my life, front to back, maybe like 30 pages. But then
Uh-huh.
that book was what like changed it all. And then it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then it was, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so forth. I'll say Rich Dad Poor Dad was the one that really changed everything for me.
That was mine too, actually. I mean, I guess long story short, for me, I almost got into this pyramid scheme type shit, and they had me read some books, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of them, and then
One of them.
things started clicking for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Amway?
Amway. I haven't.
Amway? I don't know. It's like some legal loophole, basically pyramid scheme type shit, and I was young, I was ambitious and naive,
Yeah.
and I was like, I want like they were like you can go from rags to riches and you believe it because you're 17, 18, you're like, really? Like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'll
For
do it.
sure. That's kind of how the network marketing company I joined was. It was like a lot of fake
Hmm.
energy. It was cool. A lot of
Hmm.
good tips, I guess, on that is what got me started on self education, and then kind of just let that go. And yeah.
That's good though, because, you can always take something good from any scenario, and you took that energy with you, even though it wasn't, maybe you might not have gotten a lot, but you did get one of the most important things, which is that energy to carry with you to other things.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you want me to keep going a little bit and kind of how I got started into Earth.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Go
So
for it.
yeah, the network marketing that got me started into self education. And then after that, it was
Hmm.
just read, 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 learn, 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 and study, study, study. And so I just started
Hmm.
trying to drop ship on, because a big goal of mine was to run an online business that I could operate anywhere in the world. And so I just thought of
Hmm.
that. That's always been pretty cool. And so I've always wanted to have something like that. So I started on e-commerce. I think my first online store was a jewelry shop, and that went, I mean, it was cool, but it failed hard. And then I failed again and failed again and failed again. And then the Shopify shit didn't really work out for me too well. I started a
Hmm.
little personal brand clothing company thing, kind of just to have that out there. I wasn't trying. It was just kind of for fun. I wasn't really trying to make necessarily a business out of it. And then I moved on to Amazon. And Amazon, trust me, it's been a pain in the ass, but yeah, things are coming together, and I'm finally starting to see some pretty consistent results. So it really feels good.
Okay, so you started hustling early. You went to Goodwill and stuff,
Oh
and
yeah.
then is that how Amazon clicked for you? You were like, this is like kind of the stuff I do, like I've done already.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's the same thing as going and purchasing stuff at like Ross for cheap and then reselling it on eBay. The cool thing about Amazon is everyone shops on Amazon. So it's like if you find a
Hmm.
good product with a good sales rank, I mean you're gonna sell it. They
Hmm.
might take a little bit more fees, but you'll sell it faster. And so I don't know. Amazon's awesome. There's just so many different ways you can make money on Amazon with Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Jeff.
His
Dude,
his stock is, dude, his stock's like
seriously.
$3,000 a stock. It's crazy.
Insane.
Hmm.
Insane.
But yeah, no, no, you're definitely right. You could make books, you can narrate books, you can sell things on Amazon. There's so many different paths you can literally take if you're a film director.
I just thought that was so cool.
Hmm. Like, yeah, you could put your
Yeah.
movies on
Film
video,
director.
Prime Video, or whatever. I don't know. There's so many things you can do. So how did you get started? Like, so let's say someone like me who doesn't know absolutely anything about selling on Amazon or flipping products because I've never done that. Let's say
Hmm.
someone listening is just like that, like beginner level. How would you start?
Okay. How I would start, I think the easiest way, I mean, if you haven't sold anything, that's the first step is like, you got to try and sell something, right? You got to figure out, I think the best way to start is go to like TJ Maxx or Ross or a garage sale and like find products. And
Hmm.
some people just don't want to take the time to look it up, you know? And so you just look it up on Amazon, eBay, these selling platforms, and then just see if you can make a buck. And the coolest thing, this is what I loved
Hmm.
when I started doing retail arbitrage. If you go to like Ross or TJ Maxx, they give you a receipt and you
Okay.
get a 30-day return policy on that receipt. And so if you don't sell it within that 30 days, you just take it back and get your money back. So you're not ever losing money.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
it's a win-win, low risk, low reward, but it's just a good way to get started. And so that's
Hmm.
really how I got started. I mean, I've always been a little hustler, but to the online sense of flipping stuff on eBay and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to get started. And then, consider Amazon. It does, I mean, they do take a $1 fee if you sign up with their personal account, for every product you sell. And then FBA is $40 a month. And so, yeah, if you want to get started, first you gotta just see if you're even good at selling stuff online, because
Mm-hmm.
it's self-awareness, right? I mean, I've always been a hustler. I know that. And it's like, you just gotta go to like these retail stores and see, you just try it. It's, a lot of people just
Mm-hmm.
don't try.
Okay, so let's say I'm like Gary V and I go to garage sales and I flip like I like buy shirts from little kids for like $5 and flip it for 30 because he likes to do that as his hobby. Imagine, okay, so let's say I do such stuff like that.
Hmm.
I find out I'm good at it.
Hmm.
I enjoy it, and now I want to do it on Amazon.
Okay.
So now what do I do?
So on Amazon, you can either, like I said, you can either start with the personal account and they just take $1 fee, which I do recommend. That's what I started on. And it's because why would you
Mm-hmm.
pay $40 a month when you don't even know how it's going to work out? So
Mm-hmm.
you go and you make an Amazon account, an individual account is what it's actually called. And then you, so you can either retail arbitrage, which is go to Goodwill and those places. And then Amazon's got, on the Amazon Seller Central app, they have a little barcode scanner that you can press, and then it scans the barcode. It'll pull that item up, and then it has like
Mm-hmm.
the criteria. You're like, okay, it's the buy box, meaning the lowest price it's selling at for the, or
Mm-hmm.
the best all around, like shipping, price, and everything. It's called the buy box. So it'll show the buy box.
Okay.
You put in how much you think it'll probably be, or it'll probably take to ship to the customer, and then how much you're getting it for, and then it'll show you your
Mm-hmm.
profit. And so you just go through and you scan all these items and boom, boom, boom. And then you just list them on Amazon, wait till they sell and ship them out. That's like the first thing I started doing. But then I got into FBA. So FBA is more of, if you have a little capital saved up and you're not really sure what to do with it, but you want to start selling online, FBA is a little harder, but you have to find wholesale suppliers in the US that you can buy in bulk from at wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll need a couple credentials in order to do that, which will be, I mean, your EIN, obviously, you need a resale
Mm-hmm.
certificate for the state that you're living in. I live in Oregon, so there's no sales tax, so it's kind of weird over here. But if you live in like
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, for instance, I think it's maybe like $100 for a resale certificate.
And EIN, for I guess those that don't know, it's
It's like your
employment.
identification number, yeah.
Yeah, employee identification number. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So it's like, yeah, that was a big confusion. Like TIN and EIN, they're essentially the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people get
Mm-hmm.
that mixed up. And so you'll need those two. And then what else? An LLC. I mean, I didn't start with one. It just might make it a little easier in the long run if you have an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't worry about that right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you're sending this information to wholesale suppliers. They're going to send you a
Mm-hmm.
list of products you can buy at wholesale. And then you got to do your research. You look at, what it's selling at on Amazon. And there's a lot of little things you have to look at. I don't want to go too into detail with it because we'll get off topic.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Mm-hmm.
have to run your numbers and make sure that you could profit off these items. And then FBA just means that Amazon is allowing you to ship your products into their warehouse, and they will pick, pack, and ship them all to your customers. They do take more fees, but they're doing more of the work. So it's kind of like, it's just a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I started doing, buying in bulk, having the suppliers send the products to Amazon's warehouse, and then they would sell themselves. And then I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm going to try and do a little bit of, because like I said earlier, for the online business, when I really started I started with drop shipping. Like that really caught my eye. Not much upfront capital needed, but I don't know. Some people say that, but you need a little bit of capital saved up. Like if you don't have any
Yeah.
capital, my best
Mm-hmm.
advice to you is like get a job, and just save up,
Mhm.
save your bread. Don't go and buy a $5 cup of coffee every morning and say you don't
Mhm.
have enough money. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, I live frugal.
live very frugal. I starved myself a couple of years back to
Mhm.
like save money. I was like Mickey D's,
Mhm.
McDonald's, McChicken sandwich, like that whole
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
And then, but if you save up and you have goals,
And you've already come a long
yeah,
way, man, and it's only gonna get like better the more you
exactly.
learn.
And I'm
And
not saying I'm extremely successful. I'm like this. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
but from where I was, it's cool to look back on and just like what self-educating yourself will do. And I just knew college and stuff wouldn't do that for me. But we'll go back
Mhm.
into, okay, then I got into Amazon drop shipping. And that's when
Okay.
stuff started going really good. You got to fail for a while until you see a little success. So, I was having a
Mhm.
lot of headaches trying to figure out how this works and how I can be most efficient with it. I still fuck up every day. You just learn from the little things you mess up on. It's okay. I started with FBA. I got into a little bit of drop shipping. You'll get a couple products that you think will do well, they won't do well, and then you might find one gem and it just fucking blows up. And you really do like I didn't do that much in sales for the first couple months, and then this last month I think I did like 18,000 in sales in like 10 days, which is crazy to me
Mhm.
because like just seeing that after, and it's not a crazy amount. Like, look, it's not a crazy amount, but it is a lot more than I was. And it's just cool to see that you can actually
Yeah.
make money online and you can actually, this is a real deal. If anybody tells you you don't need much money to get started in this, they're lying to you because you have to have a little bit of capital to invest. And like
Mm.
Amazon will hold your money in your account until they verify that everything's, the customers are getting the items and making sure you're not getting in any returns or chargebacks or anything like that. So they'll hold your money in your account for 14 days. So what I'm saying is if you do $17,000 in sales, you better have roughly $14,000 in your bank account that you're willing to invest. And that's going to sit in your
Mhm.
Amazon account. And then, so that's what I'm saying. Like you got to start small though. And I started small as fuck, man. Like I was only doing maybe, I started like $100 a week. Pretty cool to see the growth.
Mhm. No, man, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, the thing is, right, I guess the secret formula to wealth is, you know, living very bare minimally and investing all your spare money in either yourself, like in your self education, or like your business, your stocks, whatever you do, whatever you love, reinvest money
100%.
there or yourself. And like, and the worst part is, most people will hear that
Mm-mm.
and they're still not going to do it
Right.
because I mean, it's hard. And I think the worst part is people are scared to lose that money,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And like failing and failing and failing and failing, like it's not a good feeling, but that's just like the road to, I guess,
Trust me,
yeah.
it's a good feeling when you start seeing a
hmm
little bit of success. It's like,
hmm
holy shit, this is finally starting to pay off, you know?
I mean, dude, my intro to these podcasts, at least currently, I don't know when you guys are listening to this, but currently it's like I talk about how like your life's a story, and as cringy as that shit is, it's very true. Like you're like
Hmm.
the protagonist in your own movie, and you're failing every single day,
Hmm.
every single time, and you're getting annoyed, but you're growing. And
Yeah.
we all love that feeling when we're watching that
Hmm.
movie, and then that guy or that girl like starts to become successful, or like Creed or something in the movie where the boxer finally wins the final match. Like we like to see that growth in the character and that success. And like I just don't understand if we like that so much, why don't we like to see that in ourselves? It's because it's hard.
Exactly. Hmm. Some people they're just scared to
hmm
fail, so they won't
hmm
try. That's the worst thing you could do with yourself. Forget the word. It's just paralysis of analysis or
Mm,
something like that.
I never heard that.
I don't know.
I heard
Something
this
like
one
that.
quote. This father used to ask his daughter every day. This daughter's now like, I don't know, some really wealthy, successful woman. I forgot who they were, but the father used to ask the girl every day, what did you fail at today? And she'd be like, well, she was like saying this in an interview or something. They were like, well, why did he ask that? And then she was saying, well, his logic was if I didn't fail at something, it meant that I wasn't working hard enough. Because there's always something
Right.
you're not going to like get on your first try, or even if you're successful in your Amazon business, there's always something you can improve, you know? So it's like, that is
Right.
technically the failure. It's failure is not the
100%.
bad thing. It's how we take it pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good way
Hmm.
to put it. For
Hmm.
sure. Yeah, trust me, I've made a lot of mistakes and it's been a lot of stressful days, but it's part of it, man. You
Hmm.
cannot
And
be
that's amazing.
successful without failing a lot.
That's great. No, I'm happy for you, dude, because without that, 10, 20 years from now, like when you're
Hmm.
looking back, you're like, damn, I made those mistakes. But it's good to hear that, yeah, you're making mistakes because, and like, I feel like people are hearing this like, what the hell? He just said like he's happy for you for like
Yeah,
failing, but that's really what it
yeah.
is. Like you're failing means you're growing. And I know that because we've talked and I know that
Hmm.
that's your mindset. So that's why I'm saying it like that.
Hmm.
You need to change your mindset first, and you need to have a
Right.
growth mindset when you see these failures,
I'm all
you
about,
know?
see, when I go in all the way. I don't go half-ass. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing something and I have my mindset to it, I'm going all in. And so that's just how I think, high risk, high reward. I like that. Some people don't have like the balls or the guts for that, but that's just who I am. I like high risk. I like high rewards. You fail a lot more, but when you
Mm-hmm.
succeed, it's just like a lot better than you could think.
It's crazy, man. Seeing these, like, I love watching or like reading these stories about the top dogs of their industries right now. Like, let's say Jeff Bezos, for an example, right? I love looking at that picture of him working at his desk, and his life just looked like it sucked. Like, it was just like papers everywhere. It was like,
Oh, in his
yeah,
garage.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
he had that Amazon, and it was literally like spray painted on like a shitty white piece of paper banner thing. And it wasn't even like angled right. It was like stuck to the wall, but it was like crooked and like
Droop down.
yeah, drooping. And I was like, wow, this man had his vision every day. He looked at that and he's like, that's gonna be big. That's gonna be me.
Hmm. Yes,
And
sir.
they almost went bankrupt with their
Yeah.
book idea when they started.
Fun fact about Amazon: they didn't profit for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They broke even for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
See, most people, 99.8% of people would never ever be willing to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. I
Like
agree.
if you really put that in perspective, breaking even for 10 years, that's half my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard for me to comprehend.
Yeah.
Like wow,
Yeah.
that's wild. But that's why he is where he is.
We haven't even been in this game for 10 years
Yeah.
yet. Like,
Only been in it for what? 2, 3? Yeah, dude, that's
yeah,
insane. That's but that's why he is who he is. That's why he's the richest fucking man in the world.
that's dedication. And that's the thing, people, right? Everyone always looks at the
Yeah.
end result. No one looks behind the curtain and sees that he probably ate like Mickey D's $1
Yeah.
like breakfast sandwiches for 10 years. And now
Shout out Mickey D.
yeah. Yeah, sponsor this video.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
he was probably busting his ass for 10 years, and all everyone sees is like, oh, he's got too much money, like he needs to give it away. And maybe I'm not going to get into that topic. I don't know, but
Right.
I mean, he did, but he worked his ass to get there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
more than
For
anything
sure.
else. And I don't know.
Yeah. I think he deserves every fucking dime he has.
Mm,
There's a lot of people that say, oh, I don't think he should have doubled his net worth in, I don't know, a very short amount of time. And I
mm-hmm.
understand people's point of view of it. Da da da. But it's like, can't be mad at the guy. Like he gives back. Like he's a genuine guy. Like he's not like just
Mm-hmm.
some super evil mastermind, like rich. You know, got a lot on his plate,
Yeah,
man.
no, he
Yeah.
put in the work, man. And I think that's another thing people should know. Wealth is, an exponential curve. You will literally not make anything like that's why people like salaries. That's why people like being an employee, because you make money instantly,
Security.
but it's linear and it's secure. Yeah. It's secure
Hmm.
till it's not. which
Yeah.
which is almost like counterintuitive because they're like, oh, well, it's secure. Well, is it really? Because like if the company starts doing badly, like they're gonna cut you.
Yeah. I think the biggest driving factor in my life was not giving someone the control to snap their fingers and change my life.
hmm
My parents were always in the corporate, everyday working class,
hmm
and just coming home and seeing the stress and seeing the like, I hate my job kind of look just wasn't for me, man. And
No, I
so,
agree. I saw it happen to my parents before they went into business and rose from literally nothing several times actually. Actually, I'll probably be interviewing them eventually down the road. They have a very interesting story, but they used to be employees at Walmart, and one random day, Walmart just snapped their fingers and they're like, adios, like you're out of here. And
yeah,
my dad was like, I don't understand. I'm one of your best employees. Like my dad was doing great, but it's because Walmart has this policy you can't do side hustles in businesses on the side of being an employee to them, which is exactly what the system is, right? They want you to be an employee and nothing but an employee. And then they cut him. So, and I saw that and I was like, that is crazy.
yeah, it's
hmm
tough for sure.
Yeah. So I guess we can move on to like what are your, you had other side hustles that you've done?
Oh, I mean, it's all about seeing opportunity in a lot of different areas. I mean,
hmm
I just like selling shit, man. I don't know what it is. I just enjoy the feeling of like, oh, you're just at Walmart or you're at TJ Maxx, just shopping around with your girlfriend or your friends or whatever, and you just like see an item and you scan it, and then you're like, oh shit, I can make an extra $50 if I just buy this real quick. I just get a rush off that for some reason. I don't know why. I've sold
hmm
everything from, I don't even know, man, just all kinds of shit. I'm not a very niche specific kind of hustler. I'll
hmm
sell tampons if I can profit off of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seriously. So that's kind of how I think about it. I'm trying like shoes. I've done it all, man. There's still
hmm
a lot for me to do, but I'm not saying I've
You
done it
should
all, but I've done quite a bit.
you should look into companies that sell out very frequently, right? The stocks are always out.
Mhm.
For example, like you should look into the Ordinary skincare. They're
Okay.
like a very cheap, high quality skincare. So it's like, I don't know, a bottle, like a small bottle of something will be like $7.
Hmm.
But they're always sold out because they're so cheap and so good. So everyone buys them. So they're always sold out. And then you go look it on Amazon and it'll be like $20.
Sheesh.
And people do
Yeah,
buy that.
for
Yeah.
sure. And I think people underestimate how much people buy on Amazon.
And nobody cross lists their prices. Like if you've never heard The Ordinary and you bought from Amazon only, you would have thought that product is around $20 no matter where you buy it
100%,
from.
bro. Like
hmm
people just don't put it in perspective, like what Amazon can do. I mean, by any
hmm
means, I'm not this guru. I'm not like some crazy successful guy that's made a fortune on Amazon. Like, I'm just saying
hmm
I have made a little bit of money on Amazon, and I've bought, like, when you said invest in yourself, like, I've spent a lot of money on like programs, courses, like on how to do this online stuff. Like, a lot of it I've done on my
hmm
own, but I'm the type of person, you gotta pay to play, man. You gotta pay to learn. Like,
hmm
no guy spent
hmm
3 years busting his fucking ass every fucking night, and had some success is gonna show you how to do the same thing for free. Some people just got it
hmm
mixed up.
and not only free, if life's like an equation, like your equation's going to be different. Like your life's not going to be exactly like the guy that became successful. And maybe
Exactly.
that's partially why I had to understand that myself because I was looking at all these people and I'm like, you get that natural 20s tendency to be like, oh man, everyone's getting like successful around me, social media, everything around me. Well, first off, that's like another rabbit hole of social media giving you what you want to see. So it looks like everyone around me is like really rich and famous and successful. It's just like the people, I started feeling like this anxiety that I needed to do something already. but
Hmm.
it's like that thing where you have to slow down, learn that your life is going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest part. Like you have your own story and it's not going to
And
be
I
the
think
same.
everyone can relate to that.
Hmm.
I think everyone can relate to that, especially now because social media, all that. Like, even me, bro, I have to take a step back sometimes. I'm like, okay, like, I need to stop getting ahead of myself. And,
Hmm.
like you said, everybody's got a different situation, a different story. Some people grew up in an environment where they were able to maybe succeed a little faster in the
Hmm.
e-commerce world. You know, growing up, I never knew anyone that really was into any of that,
Hmm.
or it. I was never very tech savvy, so I had to kind of start from scratch when you got kids that are computer prodigies, that
Hmm.
can really get down on stuff like that. So, like you said, everybody's got a different story, different situation. Just you got to play with your cards,
Yeah.
play with what you're dealt, and stop comparing yourself to other people.
That's probably one of the hardest things to do. It's so easy to preach. And I'm not saying you're preaching it and like you're not doing it. I'm just saying like I say the same
Hmm.
thing, but I like you, I have to catch myself constantly being like, why am I comparing
It's
myself?
that
I can't.
it's
It's hard.
it is hard, and everybody does it. And so,
Hmm.
for those of you listening, don't feel bad for looking at other people's situations, or
Hmm.
don't put yourself down, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Hmm.
everybody's got a different situation. Everybody's got their own problems.
Exactly. And it's almost like what we were talking about earlier about behind the curtains thing. Like we see now, I might see a 24-year-old. Imagine like you see like a 24-year-old with a Ferrari, right? You're like, oh, man, like I'm 22. Like I can't get there that fast. And who knows? That guy might have been busting his ass since he was 16. Maybe he dropped out of high school and everyone made fun of him for
Yep.
years, and
Hmm.
he's been working on his own shit for 8 years at that point, and
Hmm.
that's 8, 10 years, and like now look where he is. Like you don't know, and that's the thing, and that's like life lessons are hard.
Yes, sir. Hmm.
They're hard
And
to
you
acquire.
don't be the kind of person that, you know, doesn't celebrate other people's success. And,
Hmm.
when you see the 24-year-old in the Ferrari, and you're getting jealous, but you look back on the last year or two of your life, and all you've done is go to college parties and get fucked up every night, and, not
Hmm.
study, not work, not self-educate yourself. I'm sorry, but like, you can't do that, bro. You know,
Hmm.
some people just don't, like you said, they don't look at the backstory of these people's lives. Social media, a lot of it's a front too. Like, don't let
Hmm.
a lot of that stuff fool you, but
Hmm.
don't drag yourself down because of other people's success.
Yeah, the front thing is definitely true. Like there's like those rap videos with like like music videos. Like oftentimes they just rent Ferraris from people. Like you can literally
Yeah,
go to a site and rent a Ferrari for an hour and
yeah,
pay like 100 or 200 bucks,
for
and then
sure.
just like have it like going 5 miles an hour down a road while you're just like talking and dancing in front of it and acting like
Yeah,
it's yours. Like that's
and
literally all it is.
depending what you're into, I know this
Mm-hmm.
episode's a lot about like the e-commerce stuff and like kind of what I'm
Uh-huh.
doing. Because a lot of the stuff that I see, because obviously Instagram and like TikTok, whatever algorithm is based off of like what you're into. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or what you see is based off of what you're into. And so what I see a lot of is like you said, like kids renting Ferraris, but it's all clickbait, guys. Don't
Mm-hmm.
like think that all these kids that rent a Ferrari or rent a Lamborghini or whatever, rent or stay in a really nice Airbnb and take a little video with some girls in the background. Like, look, it's all clickbait. These
Mm-hmm.
guys, it's like, just be careful who you learn from.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. And that's a hard one too, because, like I said, when I was 17, I was ambitious. I mean, still am, but it was like naive ambition. Like I didn't know
Hmm.
where to go. So anything was like enough for me. But
Yep.
that's something you learn as you keep learning as well, right? Like the music videos are clickbait. Some people will say they're teaching you and they're like gurus that are gonna like, you pay for my course and I'll teach you this. But it's almost like the work backwards thing, right? So they like the music video, right? So let's say they rented the Ferrari. They're actually broke. They rent the Ferrari. They make it look like they're
Hmm.
rich. Everyone keeps
Yep.
clicking on that video, giving them money and views. and then they
Mm-hmm.
actually eventually get famous or whatever,
Make some money
and
from
then
it.
they can actually own the Ferrari that they were acting like they had in the
Yep.
and the same thing with the gurus, right? They're gonna say, I can make you 100K a year, and everyone's gonna buy it, and they're making 100K a
Yep.
year, and that's how they're doing it. They're going,
100K a year.
like they're
Yep.
going backwards. Like they don't have any money, but they're telling you they can make you money, and then that's how they make money. You have to learn.
And I've invested into, like you just said, like I was naive
Hmm.
and spent thousands and thousands of dollars on bullshit courses and
Hmm.
like bullshit learning from people that just did exactly what you just said. I
Hmm.
mean, they present this awesome lifestyle, just post all these cool pictures. Their work that they're telling you they're going to do for you for a certain amount of money just doesn't equal up. Like it's not what you thought you were getting. I mean, a lot of the time it's just bullshit. So
Hmm.
anyway, I'm not saying everything's like that. I've just fucked up a couple times and just bought
Yeah,
just
same.
ignorant stuff.
I think the best way to learn, I guess for the people listening, then how do I know? I think the best way to learn is to read books first, right? Gain perspective, read books that people recommend that are very popular. There's a reason they're popular, like Rich Dad
Hmm.
Poor Dad. Read all these books, and then you'll start gaining the perspective to know which is actually, I should, like, what course should I actually buy versus are they trying to just get money out of me?
100%.
Hmm.
It's pretty easy for me to tell now,
Hmm.
like whether someone's credible or not.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, and like I said, but I'm not. I like to make sure I can get this. I'm not a guru. I'm
Hmm.
not this guy who's been mad successful on Amazon,
Hmm.
but we're starting to see success and things are looking good. And I don't know. I'm an average kid. I wanted to come on here on Shiva's podcast and just tell the listeners that like, you don't need a 9 to 5. Like that,
Hmm.
you can make money online. It's
Hmm.
real. Whether it's $2,000 a month, some people get paid that would change some people's lives.
Hmm.
And that's kind of the people I want to hear this.
Hmm.
Is like somebody that hates their job and like it doesn't isn't sure what to do.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, e-commerce is the move. It's the wave. If you're
Yeah.
not selling online, you're gonna lose
Hmm.
eventually. Big brands are
Hmm.
going bankrupt. Other people are coming in, buying those brands,
Hmm.
switching them to e-commerce.
Yeah, I agree. I guess we should have prefaced this with, we're just two young guys in their 20s, just trying to share like what we've learned so far. But and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I really love about like making this podcast and doing things like this because you see these. I mean, I'm not trying to equate myself as someone as successful as these like top dogs in their industry, but I'm just saying like you see these people in the top dogs of their industry like Elon Musk, but then you don't know how they got there or what they read or what they did. So
Mm-hmm.
then it's like I look into that stuff, I read that stuff, and I share it, and that's all it is. Like, I'm not trying to say either of us are, super like successful. Like, follow us. Like, I'll show you the way. I'm just saying, you can learn from my mistakes, or you don't have to. Like, it's just us trying to share what we know.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of mistakes to be made and a lot of success to be
Acquired,
attained.
yeah,
So
obtained,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I guess we should end it soon, but I wanted to say this one quote. I want to hear what your opinion is. Right?
Hmm.
You see a car, you see someone like that 24-year-old with a Ferrari, right?
Hmm.
And I think the biggest way to have a mindset shift is when you look at that car and saying, damn, I can never get that. Or like, damn, like how the hell do you do that? Like, I can't do that. To
Hmm.
how do I do that? What did he do and how do I do that? And it's the same exact
Yes,
question.
sir. Ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself a question. That's a huge one, Shiva. That's a big one that I started putting into
Mm-hmm.
play a couple years ago. Ask yourself a question. The moment you tell yourself, "I cannot afford that," or "I could never do that,"
Mm-hmm.
your brain shuts off. But if you start asking yourself a question like, "How can I afford that? What could I do
Mm-hmm.
to afford that?" You start
Yeah.
working. You know, things start getting put together, and you just thinking, and then it starts brewing. And another thing, if you see a guy in the Ferrari, don't always
Mm-hmm.
think he's a douchebag, right? be happy for him in a sense. So he probably worked his ass off to get that. Good for him, celebrate other people's success as if it were your own, and you will always have more than
I agree. It's one of those things when you start to notice it in yourself, right? I guarantee you, like 8 years ago, if I saw a picture of a Ferrari on Instagram, I would have been like, oh, what an arrogant asshole posting his like luxuries in front of me like this, like what, like screw him. And then now if I see that, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like that's really inspirational. Like how do I do that? And you start seeing that in yourself because other people still might have that same mentality. They're like, wow, this guy's pretentious. He just posted his $150,000 car. And he's like, well, is he pretentious? Or, and maybe he was, but why does it matter? Like all that matters to all that should matter
just
to you.
Just be happy.
Yeah.
Be happy for
all that should matter to you is how you see that.
For sure. I mean, just a better way to look at life, man. Just a better way to live happier. I mean, happiness is a choice, and it's all about decisions. It's all little things you just gotta change perspective of. But anyways, I wanted to also say, so this next month or two, I'm actually looking for the people who are listening, if the Amazon stuff is something you guys might be interested in, I'm actually looking to create like a few new case studies. Usually people would charge you like nothing less than $1,000 to do this, but I'm not going to charge anything. I just want to help people start making money online, showing that this is real. It's a real deal. So yeah, if you're listening, if this is something you're interested in, just shoot me a DM on Instagram at I'm Parker Stone. I'll give you more of the details and we can get you running. But anyways, thank you so much, Shiva, for having me.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, dude, it was great. This is a great talk. Thanks for being here.
For sure.
And we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, sir. All right, Shiva.
All right, take care.